Last week on Thursday, the House of Representatives passed the SAVE Act. So my question for you is, do you think that the Senate should also approve the SAVE Act as written? And to answer that, you need to understand what the SAVE Act is, because on the face of it, it seems like duh, no brainer, right? But it is the implementation of it and the way the act is written that are problematic. So let's go over a few key things. First of all, it affects anybody who needs to register to vote. If you're already registered, it won't impact you at all. But if you are newly registering to vote, or if you are changing your voter registration because perhaps you've moved or maybe you got married and changed your name, then the SAVE Act will apply to you. What the SAVE Act does then is requires you to provide both proof of who you are and proof of U.S. citizenship in order to register. To prove your citizenship, you need either a valid U.S. passport or a birth certificate. If you've gotten married and changed your name and your name on your ID doesn't match your birth certificate, you would also need to bring your marriage certificate, or if you changed your name for another reason, you would need that evidence of your name change. And you would have to physically take that into a voter registration office. There are a few other documents that work, like a military ID that lists your birthplace. What about Real ID, you may be asking? A Real ID may or may not work. It depends on what state you live in. In most states in the country, a Real ID does not denote whether you are a citizen or not. Because remember, even non-citizens can get driver's licenses. Similar law was passed in Arizona back in 2003 when they did the analysis of where the voting fell off. It was two very specific populations: college students who maybe were away from home and didn't have access to their birth certificate, and the elderly. The incidence of non-citizens voting in U.S. elections it's very tiny. It's less than 1/1000th of a percent. I mean, it's not an entirely crazy idea. You do have to be a citizen by law to vote everywhere in the United States in federal elections. The question is, does the SAVE Act, the way it's written right now, does it make sense, or is it going to disenfranchise millions of voters? Because it doesn't have a long phase-in period, so it would have people scrambling to re-register to vote or to fix their registration. Take a look at the implementation of the Real ID process, where everybody had to take documents into a government office, in that case the Department of Motor Vehicles, and it's taken nearly 20 years to implement because how difficult it has been for people to get the Real ID, because you couldn't even get in it to get your documents updated.